Hello students, I hope you all are fit and fine and doing very well in your studies. Student, in last class we had discussed about different type of thermometers. In this class we are going to discuss about transfer of heat. My dear student, you know that heat always flow from a body at a higher temperature to another body at lower temperature. As a result of heat flow, the temperature of hotter body falls and that of colder body rises. The flow of heat stops when temperature of the two bodies become equal. So, let's proceed our topic. Now students, we know that heat is a form of energy and that it flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. But question is that how does this happen? The method by which heat is transferred from one region to another are called the modes of heat transfer. Now there are three modes of heat transfer, namely conduction, convection and radiation. So today we are going to talk about conduction. So let's start conduction. Students, now if you pour hot water in a mug, even the mugs become hot. If we hold a metallic spoon over a flame, after some time the other end also heat up. The heat is traveling from one object to another in a certain way. This method of transfer of heat in solids is called conduction. So let's talk about conduction. We have seen in earlier example, the metal objects heat up when they come in contact with hot solids or liquids. Just like the stainless steel spoon becoming hot when left in a hot liquid. How do you think this happens? The heat from the hot liquid moves to the stainless steel spoon by a process called conduction. How does conduction occur? To understand this, we need to learn what matter is made up of. We know that matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms and molecules. You learnt in earlier classes that in solids the particles are very tightly packed and they cannot move around freely. However, they can vibrate about a fixed point. So students, now it is clear to you that in solids the particles they are made up of atoms. And what is atoms? Atoms means a smallest particle of everything. And in solids, these particles are very tightly packed, so they cannot move around freely. And because of that, they vibrate about a fixed point. Students, let's see the arrangement of atoms in solids. By seeing the arrangement of atoms in solids, you can better understand that how does conduction work. Now it is clear to you that each substance is made up of a smallest particle that is called atoms. These atoms are very closely to each other in solids. When we heat a solid at one end, the atoms that receive the heat start vibrating fast. As they vibrate, they pass on the vibration to the next atoms. So students, I hope it is clear to you that heat increases the vibrations of the particles at that end of the rod which is in contact with the flame. These particles collide and transfer their energy to their more slowly moving neighbors further away from the flame and make them vibrate faster. They in turn pass the vibration on to their neighbors even further away from the flame and so on. In this manner, heat energy is transferred from one particle to the next, although each individual particle remain in its original location. So student, now it is clear to you that how does conduction work. One thing also very important, that conduction happens mainly in solids. All the atoms vibrate, but they vibrate more when heated. तो जब हम सॉलिड के पार्टिकल्स को हीट करते हैं तो उनमें वाइब्रेशन ज़्यादा होता है. Heat spread by conduction when atom increases their vibrations and pass their energy on to those nearby. So students, remember one thing, the hot atoms do not move to the other end of the solid. They stay in their place. They only pass on their energy to their neighbors. It means that atoms, they are fixed at their place in solids. They do not move. They pass only their energy to the next atoms. The substances through which conduction take place is called medium. So, conduction take place through medium in solids. So, students, do you think conduction works the same everywhere? Conduction is the primary mode of heat transfer through a solid. Conduction of heat energy can occur within a body or between two bodies when they are in contact with each other. However, the rate of conduction of heat is different in different material. Also, some material allows heat energy to flow through them easily while others do not. So, now it is clear to you that conduction takes place at different speed in different substances. So students, let's talk about conductors and insulators. About conductors and insulators, you have already learned in class 6 also. I hope you remember. So heat travels faster in some substances than in others. Materials in which heat travels faster are called good conductors of heat. Metals are good conductors of heat. That is why cooking utensils are made of metals. They heat up fast on the fire and transfer the heat to the food inside to be cooked. And because of conduction, the whole utensil becomes hot, though we are heating only the bottom surface of the utensil. Now student, it is clear to you that the substances that conduct heat easily are called conductors. For example, metals are good conductors of heat. Now if there are good conductors, there must be bad conductors too. Substances or materials in which heat travels very slowly are called bad conductors of heat. Or you can also say that substances such as wood, straw, clay, rubber, glass and bakelite is what? A kind of a plastic, do not conduct heat very well and are called insulators. Now student, air and water are also poor conductor of heat. Some material such as wool, fur and bird feather are good insulators because they trap air between their fibers. So students, both good and bad conductors are useful to us depending on our needs. Now about good conductors like metals, we have already discussed that conductors like metals are used for making cooking utensils and heat resistant plastics for making the handle for these vessels. So these handles, they do not heat up even if the vessel does, and this make it possible for us to hold them. So now students, let's talk about some more uses of insulators. Many insulators contain tiny pockets of trapped air. What is the meaning of tiny pocket of trapped air? It means that cavity containing air or space containing air. So, Many insulators contain tiny pockets of trapped air to prevent transfer of heat. For example, woolen clothes do not allow our body heat to escape to the surrounding during winter due to trapped air. This air prevents the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings. Materials such as bricks, asbestos sheet, mud, etc., used in house building do not allow heat from outside to enter the house during summer. These materials during winter do not allow heat from inside to go out. Insulators such as bakelite, ebonite, dry wood, etc. are used for making handle of electric iron or cookwares. So students, what did we just learn? Let's revise. Heat flow through solids by conduction. The particles of the solid substance that are closest to the source of heat get heated themselves and start vibrating. If there are more particles packed close to each other, speed of conduction is higher. The particles only vibrate in place during conduction, they do not leave their original place. So student, I hope conduction is clear to you. In next video, we will discuss about the other mode of heat transfer. Now your homework is that please make note of this chapter and send me in group. If you have any doubt regarding any topic, you can just call me or you can write in the form of question in group also. So main thing is that keep smiling, stay home, stay healthy, and please do your studies very well. Thanks for watching this video.